Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Good morning, Bix Weir, roadrunner.com. Good morning, Horn of Z's, your sip of chaga coffee. Okay, most of you know by now we are headed for something that has never been experienced in the history of humanity, and that would be a global fiat monetary system with a currency insanity, a belief, a faith in our banks and our regulators and our monetary authorities that they know what they're doing. We've had countries crash. Zimbabwe is probably the latest great example. This is going to be different. First of all, the US dollar, the world's reserve currency, means every single country and every single person probably on the planet is going to be affected. And infected in a shocking way. Anyway, that's what's headed down the pike this year, most likely. And what we're going to see starting tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning Eastern time is one of the last lessons to learn, which is that inflation is real. Inflation destroys lives, destroys businesses, destroys countries. You cannot, there's no such thing as a free lunch. You cannot continually print money forever and expect to get away with it. Yes, I understand that the United States has done that for the past 110 years. But they are ending that now. And we will see it. No, the Chinese yuan not going to take the place. The euro's not going to take the place of the dollar. The dollar is the first and only world's reserve currency that has ever been around. Now, you could say gold was for a while, but not every country used gold at all times. Gold is fine as long as you know how much there is, and we don't. I have found at least 10 times the amount they say there is. At least. Probably more. So we'll see what happens. Nobody knows what's going to happen. That's what the Fed said. In the Road to Ruta comic books, that's exactly what the Road to Ruta is. It's a teacher's guide for studying the... it's all about scarcity. Scarcity is huge. And if we don't have scarcity in gold, I don't know what gold will be valued at. In US dollar terms, it'll be in infinity. In yuan terms, it'll be infinity. Unless they change back the US dollar. Go back to the constitutional dollar, which is almost an ounce of silver. Are they going to do that? Probably. Anyway, over the next 3 months, I'll tell you why inflation is going to be, starting tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning, inflation will be the number one thing talked about. This is the end game for the fiat monetary system and the change. Let me show you what happened. So as soon as Biden got in, the good guys started the inflation kick. Don't get me wrong. Before Biden, it was Trump printing more money than anybody needed ever in the history of the world. Trump was playing the same game, but he was allowed to continue to lie about inflation. Inflation has been raging. We all know it. The thing about inflation, too, the CPI is based on the Consumer Price Index is based on the last year, what happened that last year. So I went back and I'm looking at last year, and remember last month we went from 8.5 to 8.3, and people said, oh, we've turned the corner in inflation. That is the craziest thing I've ever heard. The only reason it went down is because of this. So in the jump from March to April was a jump of 2.6 plus that is 1.6%. That was a huge jump, March to April. And then April to May is what we're looking at next. And that is, so here's what I'm trying to say. April of last year, there was a huge jump in inflation, which means the move this year wasn't as big. It didn't look as big. It went from 8.5 to 8.3, so it went down a couple. But that's only because it went up by 1.6 the last year. Remember, inflation is how much higher prices went from the year prior, from a point in time in the year prior. And then this time, starting tomorrow, we went from 4.2 to 5.0. So it's half of what was last year. And we've had huge jumps in prices. I do expect to see a print over 9, and will shock everybody. I mean, CPI is not hard to calculate because you know all the input items. It's food at home, energy, electricity, apparel, medical care, shelter, education, food away from home, gasoline, natural gas, commodities, new vehicles, services, less energy services, and then medical care services. All this stuff is what makes up inflation. So all you have to do is look at the last month and what jumped. They all jumped, especially gas. The month before, gas didn't jump that much. And then what's happening right now, gas is still jumping. Record UK gasoline prices seen biggest daily surge in 17 years. All around the world. This is not stopping. This is the ultimate lesson. Hyperinflation will jump to 9%, then we'll jump to 12%, and everybody's saying, oh my God. Well, Volcker stopped inflation. Yes, he stopped inflation by putting interest rates at 20%. And it took him 3 years to get inflation under control. We are headed into that point in time where the Fed will have to do that if they want to save the system, and they won't do it. Meaning they're not going to save the system. It will be the price of silver that ultimately destroys these bankers. 170 years of price suppression does not end quietly, does not end easily. If you're on the road to Ruta, on the private road, you know who it is behind the scenes. Jenny and I did a full discussion and the people around this entity, and we know who's taking the silver from the JP Morgan Bank of America lease. And that's on it's on the private road. In the Ginny Moonstone section called Discovering the Good Guys, the secret third party of the JPM B of A silver lease. Not everybody knows about this. Very few people know about it. But we went down each one of those people, and Ginny nailed it. And then I added my analysis, and it's like, holy shit, this is exactly what's happening. But we're not going to know it until this breaks. And when will it break? Could be any day. See this 44% or 44-cent drop out of the blue? That's in preparation for tomorrow. Tomorrow's inflation number is going to surprise everybody, and all of a sudden, oh my God, inflation's going crazy. Then the commodities will run. Remember, these prices are all determined by computer programs set at the Fed level and the Exchange Stabilization Fund. The computer programs originally were written by Alan Greenspan in the 1960s and implemented in the early 70s under Arthur Burns, the head of the Fed then, and Alan Greenspan's mentor. And we've been on computer programs rigging the price of everything ever since. So hang on to your hats, because inflation could be zero today, because an inflation number is what is told to the people from the government. Follow John Williams at Shadow Stats. He's like, inflation is like 19%. I don't know why they're saying it's only 8.3%. But now they can say it's zero, but they're not. What does that tell you? There's a lesson to be learned. It's going to get really, really, really ugly, especially because look at the next 3 months. So May inflation is tomorrow, which is up. April to May is 0.8%. But look at the next 3 months. It goes from 0.5 to 5.4, up 4%, and half again. And then it starts dropping down in July and August and September. What does that mean? If inflation keeps kicking in, we're going to have higher and higher and higher inflation rates during those months, ultimately to culminate in the September 11th implosion of everything. That's the road to Ruta theory. But inflation is going to be the most important thing that you will be hearing about for the next 3 or 4 months. And it will free silver from manipulation, because we're going to continue to expose what they're doing. And that silver that JP Morgan has is in the hands of the good guys now. It will all be flowing over to the good guys. The B of A, JP Morgan derivative debacle, you'll see all the silver from the JP Morgan warehouse go to the good guys. Might be all there now, but definitely Bank of America probably will be the one that they pull, meaning there's a credit default on Bank of America, meaning they don't pay back the silver to the criminals at JP Morgan. Remember, whoever holds that silver now controls it all. And luckily, it's in the hands of a good guy. And go check it out at Road to Ruta, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And I've done a lot more research on this entity for a long time. If you've been on the Road to Ruta, you kind of know who I'm talking about. All right. And if you're in silver, you definitely know who I'm talking about. But I just want to show you also, this is the silver derivatives, mostly silver derivatives. And this started in 2019. In 2019, we went from $40 billion in silver derivative, which is insane amount of money, and it's doubled. And this is all part of the takedown of the bad guys. They can write all the derivatives they want. At the end of the day, who's got the physical? Who's got the physical silver is what matters. And yep, it's the good guys. So I'll be talking to Jenny later today. We got a lot to talk about. We'll be talking. I mean, that's what we do. We sit there and we discover the secrets of humanity. There's all sorts of great stuff, and I can't put this on YouTube because we talk about things that you're not allowed to talk about. There's a global collapse update, ancient technologies, and the meaning of life. Behind the silver curtain, where the hidden giants lurk. Operation Crypto Slam Phase 2. The Theta is on sale, and Tom Brady Bunch. That has not stopped yet. Autograph, the NFT company that Tom Brady started, has not chosen a blockchain yet. And I still believe the next move up for Theta is going to be when Tom Brady says, oh, yes, we've decided to go with the Theta blockchain because they've done everything right. It's going to be the number one blockchain for everybody. Already, a lot of people are, Vegas is using it. Katy Perry is using it. All the people who want a sound, established NFT blockchain going forward with the proper KYC being done on everybody, know your customer. They want to do it within the law. And that's why also that Theta is not trading on the U.S. exchanges right now, except Binance US. That is because they want to make sure that the regulators know what they're doing and the regulations are in place. We'll be talking to Jenny. I'll talk to Jenny today about the regulations. Oh, by the way, if you haven't seen it, an advanced couple of pages, the first 4 pages with the titles of the new crypto regulations was released on the internet. And I read them, and yeah, a lot of your cryptos will go away, especially the DeFi ones. So just keep that in mind, and a lot of cryptos will be classified as securities. That's if the system stays in place, if the regulators stay in place. I think it's a waste of time. I think there should be no regulators. And you might say, well, then there's manipulation all over the place. And I go, yeah, absolutely. There would be manipulation all over the place, and people would choose not to be in those markets that are manipulated. And you'd have to have a sound, honest, open, free market solution for people to get back in the market. That's what makes sense. That's what Veritasium was all about. And, the odds are getting better and better that Veritasium will be implemented to fix the current exchanges. Like the New York stock exchange is a joke. As a matter of fact, Virtu Financial, that company I've been screaming about for so long, will be out of business with the new Gary Gensler rules that are coming in. I talked about that on the private road as well. So go check out the private road stuff, and I'll be talking to Jenny again, and we're gonna get to the bottom of everything before it's known to humanity. So go check that out. This is Bix Weir, roadrunner.com.
Hang on tight, my friends. Theta Girl's on her way. out searching for a token that would fly to the sky. Dump everything on her, let her take me so high. Well, she said her name was Date, I wanna go for a ride. Rock band expansion, always there by my side. She's my theta girl, she really rocks my world. Go theta, go theta, go theta, go. I said go theta, go theta, go theta, go. Well, the 40X movie 2020 was fun. You ain't seen how high my little theta can run. Coinbase will lie 300 million or more. America will love her while they watch her press her. She's my theta girl, she really rocks my world. Go theta, go theta, go theta, go. I said go theta, go theta, go theta, go. Go theta, go theta, go theta, go. Go theta, go theta, go theta, go. You're my theta girl, you really rock my world. Go theta, go theta, go theta, go. Well, my wife got really jealous, I love theta too much. She said, I know it sounds crazy, I'm missing your touch. You're gonna have to choose, it's either me or your coin. I'm sad to see her go, but look where theta is gone. She's my theta girl, she really rocks my world. Go theta, go theta, go theta, go. I said go theta, go theta, go theta, go. Go theta, go theta, go theta, go. Go theta, go theta, go theta, go. You're my theta girl, you really rock my world. Go theta, go theta, go theta, go. Well, I believe Sarasi $1,000 or more. Everybody watching theta partner galore. Samsung and Sony, Apple, Netflix and more. Google and then YouTube, well, you watch it, press or. It's my theta girl, she really rocks my world. Go theta, go theta, go theta, go. 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 You're my theta girl,